2012 bought this first year, and it only been heating this place. Right. No hot water. It was dire. Sorry, and the kids. I used to bring my kids here again because at the time I took over. For the first 3 years, I took a day off.
Yeah.
Worked every day, so I have them 3 weekends out of 4. It got cold in here. The kids used to go to the toilet only because this was wooden sink. It was dire.
From scratch,
Then we bought the place, we put new windows in, the heating system in, renovated upstairs, and then down here then too. We guys done in 4 weeks. Turned upstairs from a parts store into an office environment. And then we had done 3 weeks and then down here.
Yeah.
Ripped it apart. Do you want tea or coffee?
I'll take tea.
Tea.
Please, thank you.
Okay, Chris, so tell me the background of Manfreight and how you got involved in this business.
Well, Manfreight's a family business, so it is. So it's going now 45 years. So there's my father ran it until his death, unfortunately, in 2010, and I took over then. So for the last 8 years, I've took it over from his unfortunate death. And myself at the time, I worked for a company called Norfolk or DFDS. So I was the export manager for that company and have been from '96. And in that role, we operated a business out of the port in Belfast, where we were the main exporter of the country. We were working for all the multiples. So we're and at the time Daddy passed away, he took over a contract with Moy Park, which is just across the road. And we recognised he'd been sick. He had, I think, a motor neurone disease, and he was meant to have 18 months, and he got 11 days. So he'd invested heavily in the year prior to his death in a new contract with Moy Park, and I had only 2 options: to sell the business or to sweat the assets, because he invested heavily. So agreed with my then employers, DFDS, to take a sabbatical, year out. And 3 years later, I realised I had a day off, and I was loving more working here than working for DFDS. So I continued to stay that way and operated out of here and grew the business. So we did year on year. We bought the premises. The customer support has been fantastic. The people have been fantastic. Like, I'm a blow into here as well. And yet, you know, we felt very welcome. You know, we're part of the community. And then how we got involved with the club was because we shipped mainly a company called Stanley. And Stanley invited us to go to Euros. And there's a competitor by the name of Paul Jackson was on that trip. And Paul and I had a bit of banter that day. And he said to me, "Would you support your local club?" And I says, "Paul, who is that?" And he says, "It's Portland Football Club." And I says, "Of course we will." So then that would have been the Lithuania game. And it was a great experience, great game. And we came home, and he contacted me a month and a half later, and he says, "Have your banner made up for the pitch? Will you come and get a photograph taken of it?" So we did. And part of the scheme that Paul's operating is a sponsorship scheme for the businesses. And it's about local businesses recognising the customer base that they have, and presenting themselves at the pitch and the banners, all right? And it's good for the community, so it builds up the network, we call it. So in this being sponsor for Portadown, we got the opportunity to bring guests with us, like today, to the club, all right? And it was a good game. We won, so we did. It was a good result. And at the game, during the break, they had some of the previous players from days gone by. And the players talked about the experiences from Portadown from the 80s and the early 90s. And the club was at its height, so it was. And it was stories I had never heard. And it was stories that hit me hard. You know, this club has been so great, you know, and it still has that ability. But just at the moment, it's a sleeping giant. It has to wake again. And it was not blew away. I was where our guests blew away that day, you know, and the whole atmosphere of the day. And we ended up staying there about 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. You know me, so it ended up being going for a football game and we ended up went for an Indian. So the day didn't finish too early, to tell you the truth. And it was great. And then we had another experience day where we brought staff to it, and they equally enjoyed it. And association too, we had just at the pitch a banner, right? But they would like to see that there, the staff did. customers across the way in White Park, staff there, they make comment. So it reassured me that my thought process was right, that having a banner there helped people recognise that we were part of the community. And then, unfortunately, or fortunately for us, we got an opportunity to be main sponsor for the club, which we jumped at the chance. Yeah. And the first year we did the senior team. And then this year we've done the senior ladies and we've done all the junior teams as well. And that came about because 2 members of staff here, and this Kim Gregors, their son's playing under 12s. And he wanted me to help raise some money for under 12s to go and play in Poland year before last. And then that there, I asked the club, because I want the directors, what are we doing for youth? And we're told we do bits and pieces, and I said we need a bit more. And why does the youth feel divided from the seniors? If it's all one team, it should all be one concept. So from that then, with under 12s, we helped raise money for them to go to Poland. And then the idea grew about having all the teams having the same kit. So the identification's all one. So it's been great for us. And the day we had the photo shoot at the game, you know, all the kids that are nice for the photograph still, and I fondly look at them. You know, it's nice that our name's on it, but for our employees to see that too. And we're giving something back, so we are. So it's good that way. And the club is good, so it is.
And seeing like the whole club from under 8s and 9s, the whole way up to seniors and the ladies as well, all with that one unique, they're all that binding logo in front of their shirt. That's bound to give you a lot of pride.
Oh, it does. It certainly, you know, the fact that we're the only club in Northern Ireland has that done. You know, and the fact, you know, it does look smart. You know, our colours don't match well in with the put-in colours. You know, the first year of the away kit was class. You know what I mean? But this year we've got the home kit look good as well as we have. And there's a surprise coming for next year. So there's two. So it's progression, so it is there. And the identification gives us certainly pride. You know, we walk around there in the shopping centre and see certain kids running about and the top says their name on it. You know, if you were to step back to 2010, you know, we were 47 lorries. Yeah, my father passed away, 12 trailers. Today, to put it in context, we have 117 lorries of room. We have 40 subcontractors pulling for us. So we're near 160 trucks. We have 235 trailers. And we have a walking floors 30 and curtains on top of that, near 300 trailers. You know, so we like put it down. You know, we're asleep for a while. You know, now we're one of the biggest haulers in Northern Ireland. At this one time, on the route from Belfast to Kinragh and Stanley, we're the biggest shipper in Northern Ireland. We put on that route over 20,000 pieces a year. I mean, collectively we ship over 30,000 pieces a year, so we do, between all routes. You know, so I see Portadown invest in the youth, invest in the club, and I see that there is commitment that they want to get back to where they were before. Excuse me. Excuse me. And you and I, Mark, we looked at a photograph of one of the board meetings of a picture from the 80s. Yeah, and like it was like looking at Anfield. It wasn't it? I know you've seen the crowd, you've seen the banners across the different tiers, you know, and that's what we should get back to. Like put it down. My father's a workaholic. All right, my kid's Italian workaholic too, right? So my youth was not actually getting away to any games or any sport. All right, it was very much oriented around farming, lorries, or in yards working, and there did me no harm. All right, but now I recognise like a bit more rich kids out there, right? And that's why the youth come through the clubs. It's fantastic for us to see that there, all right? Because there has to be a work-life balance, and there has to be enjoyment in the sport, right? And when the youth's doing well and coming forward, that's the progression for the senior teams, yeah. And if we can harvest a lot of our own talent and keep it in the club, we will strengthen our club, yeah. And you look at the team we have today and the manager, you know, the club's, you know, it's been through a lot of different stages. We call it like a year. You have your spring, summer, autumn, winter. We went through the autumn, winter. We're in the spring now, so we are. And the summer's coming.
When you first got involved with the club as a sponsor, as a business club member, you made that jump then into being a director. What teased you into doing that, and what has your experience been so far in that big role in the club?
Well, a director's it's a responsible role, all right, and that's people think sometimes a director is a glorified person to walk around the club, but it's actually not. You know, our chairperson, Ronnie, that man puts his heart and soul in the club. You know what I mean? And everything goes right, but also everything goes wrong. affects him, so does her. And he tries his best for that club. As does Paul, as does Peter, as does David. Yeah? So the directors of the club, right, today's directors took over in a period of difficulty. I wasn't involved prior to that there, but I have been involved in the last 3 years, right, and I see the level of input they put in personally, right, the commitment to the club in their own time, you know, and it's about, again, the foundations, you know, recognising what stage we're at and putting the 5-year plan in, the 10-year plan in, where the club's going to be, and benchmarking those stages that we have completed this task we need in that time frame before we start the next task to keep progression, right? So the chair people you have in that club, right, chairpersons that you have in that club are fully committed to the club, yeah, and yet they don't always feel the support come from supporters because the pitch is the results, and the results from the pitch it's the fault of the players and the directors, all right? They haven't shied away from that there. They haven't walked away from it. They've stood firm and said, right, we're working on it, give us a chance. And the supporters have given us a chance. And this season there has been a better season than we've had for a couple of years now. So the fruits of the labours are starting to come to fruition. So yeah, so being a director in Portadown, I'm very proud of that there. Yeah, and it's something that I promote. When I'm out in business in Holland or Scandinavia for a business, they talk about what we do as a hobby. And I say, I found a hobby lately involved the director of football club. No. So, and then they ask you about it. And it's funny that, you know, we now, with having our name on the kit, sometimes we build new relationships with new customers. We send them one of the tops. Yeah, I know, and they ring us and they thank us for it, and they send us pictures of it, maybe they wear it or put it on the wall. I know, and it's starting to develop the name and association of two brands, because we are a brand. We're a business, but we're also a brand. And that's what our customers buy into, is that we effectively, we provide a service, like others do in haulage, but we put our heart and soul into our customers. And we try to understand our customers' 5-year plan, and we always try and grow our business to aid our customers' growth pattern, so that we're not reactive, we're proactive.
And this is silos for
Oh, right, yeah.
for basically small amounts of soil, and then they went into this warehouse here. So then they came out this main door here, the second door. Well, that was his way in, and that second was his way out.
Oh, yeah.
And then I cut the whole floor in here, took the walls down, made this in the service department then for trucks and trailers. Put a rolling road in there too, and then put a loft in there for parts. So we really modified this environment to try and suit our business. But with working on the parameters, so we knocked 2 more doors out.
Yeah.
And then I took down all these silos. And then our yard used to finish here with an acre in size.
Right, okay.
And the yard used to finish here at this girdle line.
Yeah.
There's a 2-foot drop into here. We bought this in the 7th of February 2016. We took 200 tons of scrapings off this, which was soil and such. Put down 14,000 tons of stones, 770 cubic cement down, 264 metres of fencing right round, 8 metre LEDs and drive-through truck wash. We opened on the 20th of April, so we did. So it wasn't too bad going. And that gave us an environment for our drivers to park their cars safely, the drivers to park their trucks safely, and also do the necessary keeping everything hygienic. There's 2 full-time washmen in there every day, do the Sunday washing trucks. So we're bringing these 3 products and transporting them to and the purchase of this yard that we wanted, it was 1.6 acres of scrub. We then ended up having to buy the estate. So we ended up, we took this over, there 7 tenants in here, so it was there at the time. We had to shut off here, but in 2016, in June, we bought a walking floor business for Europe. So we did there, so these vehicles here, they go out to Europe, and there's 29, 30, just you give them last week, 30 of them walking floors. So they're a specialised job. So we do refrigeration, curtain setters and walking floors. And they actually walk the load out of the trailer, so they do, in 28 minutes. So they're for bulk haulage, but I built them like a fridge inside, so they're palletised floors. So I can put pallets in them as well, so we can. So we designed them ourselves, that makes sense. And we park then all the walking floors in here, or stuff that's for service in here. And we have a fuel station here now too. So BCI, CSE, toll pass off, and You believe it or not, I think it's the 4th busiest filling station in Ireland this year.
Right.
So it is. We don't use it ourselves. That shed's just for parts and pieces. This shed's our new gym. I'll show you that there in a second. ES is a tenant. Toolbar's a tenant. And all track rally schools a tenant.
Oh, right.
So there's another garage in the back of that there.
Yeah.
And then the main offices that I was in was the main offices. And then whenever we expanded and grew, we took back over the control this year and we turned this into an operating centre.
Oh, right.
So we took all the walls out inside, put new cabling, network cable it, phone cable it, heated it, new floor into it, new windows, and turned that into an environment for the staff doing the planning and doing the administration.
There's some operation, you know.
It's a bit of fun. Only a bit of fun. So the vehicles come back in. The European vehicles are back in Friday. Fridge men come in, go back out. So we're doing about 300. Caesar, we're doing 360 exports on fridges alone a week. Sorry. And then a walk on floors, as I say, we have it. Since the men doing walk on floor. And at Europe, some boys will stay here for 2 weeks or 3 weeks and do European loads. And out of Holland back into London or into Bristol. And then that we're keeping back in again to Northern Ireland.
Never stops.
Even on Christmas Day we work. So we're just honest.
Doesn't stop.
We're moving stuff for Tesco's, for Asda, for Sainsbury's, for the co-op. We guys don't stop eating, so we have to keep moving. So we're all right.
Okay, Stephen, tell me about your role within Manfreight and what the company means to yourself.
Well, my role within Manfreight is driver training and employment manager, so I recruit and train the drivers. So I recruit the drivers from scratch to make sure they have the proper credentials, driving licence, DigiCard, CPC card, and then take them for a driving assessment, and if they're successful then I employ them with the company. And once I employ with the company then I then can take them for further training for fuel economy. So that's my main role within the company.
Yeah. And Manfreight seems to be a real company that's its main ethos is the employees and the community feeling around the whole company. Is that how you feel yourself?
Well, Manfreight's a privately owned company. It's a family-owned business. I am working for Manfreight for over 9 years, so I am. And from 9 years I've started with Manfreight, they've grew. They've more than doubled in size. And the thing I like about Manfreight, they do the thing right. You know, we try our best, we do the thing right, and it's a nice place to work. So it is.
And the company, as you say, it has grown so much in the last number of years, and the number of employees has grown massively too.
Yeah.
And all that's done is just increase the size of the Manfreight family.
It has, yes. Now we're currently operating over 180 drivers from all over our places: Portadown, Belfast, Larne, and Stranraer, and the UK. So we've over 180 drivers, and they're all moving, like, so they're all busy.
Talk a wee bit, for people that maybe don't sort of know Manfreight in depth, like I've no doubt they've seen the lorries on the road and the M1 up and down all the time, but talk about what the company does in a broad sense, just to give people a sort of insight into what the company is.
Okay, the company is a logistics provider. But logistics is the fancy name for transport. All right. We transport chilled products. So we will be moving out of the country here on a night 60 lorries plus of refrigeration goods. That's going into retailers, which is likes of Tesco's, Asda's, into RDCs, retail distribution centres, and then they pick it and they go to shops. So from we leave the factory to we hit an RDC, it's no more than 12 hours. And that includes a boat journey, so it does. So it's a very time-sensitive logistics platform, all right? It's not like dry freight, which is 48 hours. So everything we move is on the shelves within 48 hours or is in somebody's fridge within 48 hours. And then that's us going out, that's us getting in the Dingley market, and then coming home. Everything you're wearing comes in the back of a lorry. We bring in everything from cups to parts for factories. We bring all that there next day, 48-hour, 24-hour traffic back in to like the Countrywide Express Parcels, which are around the corner from us, JMC in the south. And we also bring in the food for Tesco's as well, so we do. So everything we do is time sensitive and it's called driver accompanied. So is there. We also have a platform there of what we call walking floors. So we have a business that works for us in England where we transit in out of Europe from a place called Venlo into Bristol and into London and into Italy, where we provide a service of bringing a product which again it produces for the food industry. All right.
Right. Talk to me about, based in Portadown, now this is where your head office is, where your main yard is. What advantage of being in Portadown does that give you as a multinational company?
Well, Portadown is the centre, right, of Northern Ireland for us. All right. Our customer base surrounds us here. Everything we move is within 18 miles of our business. All right, which is very, very important. All right. It's central point for shipping routes. We can ship today out through out through Belfast or Larne, or through Dublin, and the journey distance is similar for all ports. All right, but it's funny being associated with Portadown Football Club. I heard that the Portadown used to be called the hub of the north. So that, and we say it there now too. If we're talking to customers to say, where are you based? And if they're coming from Germany or coming from Holland, we say we are the hub of the north. We're in Portadown. So Portadown is a good centre point for us, both for customers but also for our logistics platform to access the ports, because everything we're doing, it has to go by boat. So we need to be centre point for that there. If you're based in Belfast, obviously you go to Belfast, but to go to Dublin is a journey. Whereas you're sitting in Portadown, you can turn left live or turn right live, and you're in either ports you are quite quickly.
Your company and yourself has been involved in a lot of charity events and organisations. Talk to me a bit about how important that is to you yourself and to your company as well.
Well, everybody gets touched, so they do, with a bit of loss. All right, we've had our fair share of it, I suppose. We lost my father in 2010 to motor disease, and we lost my sister at 24, 6 months later, to cirrhosis. So we as a family, right, my mother, myself, and my sister, recognised that, you know, we had a lot of support through the difficult periods of our lives. My sister was sick from she was born. She needed a heart lung transplant. And we recognised the support we had both for Anita and for Daddy at different stages. Cancer in our family was taking 3 very close family members as well in the last 2 years. So everything affects everybody, all right? And we have to try and help back. So we do with the big bus. We create an environment here in Portadown where it's stored. So if we go back 4 years ago, the big bus was stored at Lisburn Fire Station. The big bus stored at Lisburn Fire Station, and for insurance purposes, they wouldn't let it stay there. So we took up the opportunity and we created the environment because it does a very important role in the community. It needs support in a lot of aspects. It takes 4 litres of water every 2 days for mammograms. It has to be connected to electricity, even when it's not on the road. So we provide that to it, and gets washed here and gets fueled here. We do it because it's the right thing to do. They in turn do a free test of all our employees for us, male and female, once or twice a year, whatever we want. So it's very good on our behalf. With the motor immune disease, I done a jump. Now, we're sitting on a nice chair and table, and I wouldn't jump from this table to the ground. And I jumped 10,000 foot out of a plane for motor immune disease, and we raised £11,000 for that there. And then we've done bits and pieces of cirrhosis. We bought what they call an anniversary truck, which is the dearest truck in the United Kingdom to date. So it is. we paid 220,000 for it, so we did. But the objective was that we wanted the truck. We wanted the truck to aid the charities that we support, and also there's an opportunity where it was auctioned in England at Hilton in Birmingham. Jonathan Ross from TV, he was there that night doing compare, and we had a good chat. He asked us, "Was I mad?" This is probably am, but he is too. And from the truck was valued at about 148,000. All right, it was an anniversary truck of a Volvo, a brand that we support heavily, and it supports us too. But the agreement was on the night that the truck, Volvo, would take £100,000 off the price of the final bid, and then the balance was split between 2 charities. The charity one was the choice of Volvo, and charity 2 was the choice of the person who put the final bid on. So from that there, we got involved in with Princess Anne. So now we've been across to London 3 times with Princess Anne, and we're involved with her charity, which is Transaid. And Transaid is a charity for haulage where they're supporting the third world countries. All right. So what people recognise is Africa is unfortunately in a bad place with starvation, right? But the second biggest killer in Africa is road death, which is not recognised. So Princess Anne, about 28 years ago, put together a charity, all right, on her own bat, and she involved the hauler base of GB, and now we're the first sponsor from Northern Ireland associated with the charity. And what it means is that the manufacturers, MAN, Diesel, Volvo, Scania, will send across 3-year-old trucks to come out of contract to Africa, to send across driver trainers, to send across mechanics, and they'll help to build infrastructure to around the businesses, because unfortunately over there at the moment, as I say, the second biggest killer is road death. And one of the guys we met at one conference said that he, whilst on one of his missions to Africa, came across a crash where a bus was wiped out by a lorry, right? Because there's no brakes in the lorry. There's 22 people killed on the bus, right? They set the people on the verge of the road and drove the bus on. You know, for that to happen here, it would be appalling, you know, but that's unfortunately what's on there. So we got involved with that there, and then cirrhosis. My sister died from it, but they're getting closer and closer to finding the cure for it in some respects. It's all about genetics. So we get involved with cystic, get involved in motor disease, Transaid, and then cancer. And the gold truck that we bought, it done in 2017, 13 different events in Dooneramas. Event in Port Stewart, Port Rush, and last year done 16, and this year we're going to do 18. And we have that truck specifically because drivers love trucks, people love the noise of trucks, and if you actually go to some events, you see the atmosphere is electric, so it is there. And by bringing that gold truck to events like that there, it attracts people to come to it, and it helps to raise then charity.
Right, so the vehicle, it's an F816, which means it's a 16 litre engine, sorry, and it's got 750 horses, so it's the biggest engine that they produce, and it's meant to mean effectively if you had 750 horses pulling, this is the power that the vehicle has. So it's a celebration truck. Number plate was bought by Volvo, hence Volvo Group UK, F816 ONE number 1. All right, it's a celebration vehicle of Volvo being 50 years selling Volvo trucks in the United Kingdom. All right, and if you look at the side of it, it commenced in 1967, the first sales, and this vehicle was a celebration in 2017. The truck itself is a Volvo FH, but it's been taken by Volvo and tailored to suit the celebration with airbrushing of the vehicles of the various years during the 50 years on both sides of the vehicle. So during my childhood, this vehicle here would have been a vehicle that was launched in 1978. So it would have been prior to that there, you'd have the F88, and then you have what we used to call the bubble. So it is. And you can see as the trucks have come up in the years, how they developed in engine horsepower, in durability, and in comfort factor for the driver. Like back in the day, these trucks didn't have beds. They had a plank of wood which sat at the back of the truck in this small environment, that the driver pulled that plank of wood forward, put across the 2 seats, and slept on that there. And that was normal. Yeah. That was expected, as it was. So 750 horses, should we talk about? She's heavily Volvo branded. So she is, and then the 2 guys in the back are the reason why, or they're the first people to bring Volvo to United Kingdom. Call them 2 Jims. And they went to Volvo in Gothenburg in 65, 66, and said to Volvo that we want to sell your trucks in the United Kingdom. At that time there was Leyland, Bedford, DAFs, but there was no other manufacturer like Volvo or Scania. At the time Scania were trying to break into the marketplace as well. But the 2 Jims went to Gothenburg, spoke to Volvo. At the time Volvo was a small brand, and Volvo said to come back with sales of 20 trucks and we'll consider selling trucks to you. So they went back a year later in 67, so we've ordered a book here for 100 trucks. So suddenly it started, and an order book 100 trucks was massive then. Like today, Volvo and Scania, who'd only control collectively about 50% of the market in the Kingdom, are selling in the region of 20,000 trucks a year. So if that puts the things in context, it wasn't a high number of vehicles, but at that time it was substantial. And the truck itself, we keep it here inside. We don't use it for work. So this is what they call a 5th wheel plate. And the 5th wheel plate, you can see there's a cover on. The cover is detachable. And below that there's how a trailer hooks into a lorry. Alright, so this vehicle as long as there's breath in my lungs, it's not to be used. So that's why this is on it.
Yeah.
All right. We use it only for charity at the moment, and that's what we intend to be using it for. And in celebration of it happening, Volvo put a plaque on side this vehicle, which states quite simply, that's a unique one-off Volvo F816, designed to celebrate the history of Volvo Trucks, United Kingdom and Ireland. And it's in honour of the two founders, Jim McKelvey and Jim McCatlin, all of employees, dealers and customers past and present who have contributed to the success of Volvo Trucks during the last 50 years of Volvo. And that's presented by a guy called Arnie Canavan, who was MD of Volvo United Kingdom, came across to celebrate with us on this here occasion. So was there. So on the night of bidding, it was in the Hilton Hotel in Birmingham, and I got a bit frantic, so I did, because we had about 300 people there that night. All the main hauliers across Scotland, Wales, England and Northern Ireland were all there, and we were all bidding on this vehicle, so we were. A guy called Jonathan Ross from TV, he was doing compares, we was there. And at the end of the night, we were delighted to have won,
Yeah.
so we were.
And there's a whole lot of pride getting that Manfreight logo on the side of that.
Oh, definitely, yeah. You know, my father worked so hard his whole life. I never got the opportunity to enjoy, you know, his hard work, because he got taken from us at 61 years of age. But, you know, things like this here, it's a thank you to him for giving us the foundations we are today.
Tell me, for miles to smiles, where does this come from? I've seen it on all the vehicles as I've been here.
My father put it on the vehicles, we did. Back in his day, it's still probably some areas still, people get paid by the mile. All right, so you and I go to work for a day's wage, right? Back in the day, the guys, the more they went, the more miles they did, the more they earned. So Daddy said, for miles he smiles.
Very good, very good.
So was there. So we put it in all our vehicles, so we do. It seems we put my father's crest on the vehicles too. You know, I'm Chris Slowey, but Daddy was Chris Slowey. So he's Joseph Christopher Slowey. So that's a JCS. It used to be a joke years ago, it was Chris Slowey Jr. But it's my father, so it is.
Last one then, just talk to me about where, you sort of touched on it before, about where you see Portadown Football Club as a whole going within the next 5-10 years, and so what are your ambitions for the club specifically yourself?
Right, okay. Right, the club itself has to become a business, all right? And it has the ability to be a business, all right? And by a business, I don't mean people taking money out of the business. You may cut that bit out. What I mean, it has to become a business, it has to be responsible, right? And any business is responsible for three things, right? The employees, the customers, and the brand. That's what you're to be responsible for. You look after those three aspects of your business and your business will go forward. So the club's brand is a club, all right? And the club has to re-establish itself within the community, right? It has to get community support, because that's the customer, okay? If we can get the confidence back in the customer, we'll get the people in the seats. For the people in the seats, we'll be able to get players who improve the situation of the club, as in the stadium, the stands, etc., right? So our ambition, and it's not me, it's the director's ambition, right? But collectively, our ambition is that we create a stadium there, which is not just for one day a week. We want the stadium there for community. We want it there that they can have effectively birthday parties at it, they can have a conference at it, that we can have a gym effect at it for the players for improvement, that we can have a one-stop shop effectively. You see it at Ibrox, yeah, you see it in England, if you go to any of the major stadiums. Now that's difficult for us to do with the community, not with the community, that's difficult for us to do with the number of population we have in Northern Ireland. Okay, if you go to London, the population in London, right, outweighs Northern Ireland 3 times, okay? But we have the same heart and soul, right? So we need to then look at other countries that are doing the same thing, like Iceland. I went to Iceland there 2 years ago, and I looked around at how they come together as a community, and they don't have to spend a fortune to have a good product, all right? So for me and the director of the club, we want to see the club, back in top division, yeah? We want to see a team out in the pitch that's performing to its height of ability. If that means we have to help them with physiotherapy, gyms, we'll do that there. Okay, part of the gym here, we can aid that with the club if they need that there to help improve the young players coming forward. We want to see the people back in the seats, We want to see the atmosphere, the roar, the positivity. You know, we want to see that club to be recognised where it was in the 80s and 90s as one of the top 3 clubs in Northern Ireland. That's the vision for it.